Well, joining us now in the WLMB studio is Dr. Clint Longenecker. Now, Jamie, he is, we've got some wonderful information on him, some titles here that I do not want to miss.
Yes.
Okay?
All right.
So, well, we had mentioned already, Distinguished University Professor Emeritus from the College of Business and Innovation at the University of Toledo, and he has been recognized by The Economist as one of the top 15 business professors in the world.
That's right.
In the world.
Not just the United States, but all 180 countries of the world.
That's right. And then Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year, Toastmasters International Leadership Award, the Jefferson Award for Outstanding Public Service, Top 30 Transformational Leaders in America, has published over 200 articles and 4 best-selling books. And, and that's not even all of it, Jamie.
Right. And I think the best title is that he is WLMB's friend.
Well, absolutely.
Excellent.
That's terrific.
Welcome, Clint.
It's great to be here with the two of you. And, I have to say this. I can't think of one thing that's happened in my lifetime, and that's I've been very blessed in so many ways with being recognized. And I never sought recognition, but I think if you do a good job and you're a servant leader, good things tend to flow your way. So I'm very appreciative. But now I can't think of one thing that's happened in my lifetime that I couldn't see Jesus' fingerprints on, or his hand, his guiding hand, or whatever. That's part A. Part B is I married ever so well.
Yes, you do.
You know that, both
Yep.
of you. My lovely wife Cindy and I have been married for 36 years, and she is the wisest person I know. And that's not to take anything away from anybody else, but she's just exceptionally wise, loving, caring, and she is the best leader that I know.
Aww.
And which is kind of a roll into our discussion today about leadership.
Yes.
I love it.
So you've written this article recently,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
so maybe you can share a little bit about that, as it kind of talks about failure.
Yeah, it does. So I've done over the course of my career about 45 studies on leadership, and that's part of my responsibility as an educator in working at the University of Toledo in the College of Business and Innovation for 38 years. In fact, here's some perspective for people. When I started, my nickname was Curly. So just to give you kind of a little bit of a feel for this. So, but I've always appreciated and enjoyed, and everybody wants to study leadership success. Mm-hmm. But there's only a small group of people in academia and in the practice of leadership that study why leaders fail. Mm. So this was a study of 1,100 folks that were in leadership positions, and I asked them to chronicle, if you would, based on their experience, why leaders failed. And we define failure in a couple ways, but leaders are paid by their organizations to deliver desired results. So if a leader is not delivering desired results, she or he is not really making a difference, and that creates trouble for everybody. So the question is, that's one form of leadership failure. Another one is when people are toxic or destructive in their treatment of other people. That causes real trouble for organizations as well. Then finally, ethical failures and meltdown that we've talked before on this program, or with WLMB on the Bathsheba syndrome, about why good people get caught up in wrongful things. So at the end of the day, I did this study with a dear friend of mine, a strong Christian believer. His name is Terrence Donahue, and he was a member of Crew. He was an athlete in college, and just a wonderful soul who operates in the people development business. And so we came together, we pulled all the research we could pull in from these folks, and we decided to chronicle, basically identify 13 primary reasons why leaders fail. And it's not a complicated list. In fact, as a former football player in college, I would describe it as blocking and tackling. It's fundamentals. So we find that if a leader, she or he, does not clarify the expectations of here's where we're going, here's our vision, here's our mission, and here are your individual responsibilities, the organization is not going to do well. That leader will probably, that's the number one factor for leadership failure, not knowing where you're going.
Need a vision.
Now, I am talking to two people who are both visionary, and WLMB would not be where it is today if it wasn't for the steadfast, ongoing, committed leadership and passion for what you do. So I want to thank the two of you for being terrific leaders.
Well, thank you for your kind words. We stand on the shoulders of giants, though. They're on the other side of the camera, and many people have come before that have supported this ministry, but thank you for those kind words.
Well, what's the old adage? Teamwork makes the dream work. Right,
yes.
It's so very true. So now, if we're going to look at our hit parade of trouble, if a leader cannot communicate very effectively, And the most important communication skill isn't speaking, it's what? It's listening. So if a leader is in a position where she or he is not a good listener, that really puts them at a competitive disadvantage. So as we work our way down lists, you've got to have great communication skills for sure, but now the big one is you've got to be emotionally intelligent. And by definition, emotionally intelligent means a person has the capacity to interact with anybody. They're self-monitoring, they're empathetic, they have the ability to be aware of how they're coming off and who they're communicating with. So emotional intelligence is really a powerful thing. They know how to build great interpersonal relations. Now, number 4 on our list, and to no one's surprise, it's when somebody is unethical or lacks character or is summarily untrustworthy. So if a leader is not trustworthy, meaning they don't have the competency, they don't have the character for what they're doing, right out of the gate, they've got big time trouble. And we can see that. You open up the newspaper on any given day and you're seeing all kinds of things in that regard. So I'll just mention a couple more, but a big one is the inability to foster and build a team, to pull people together. And like you mentioned, Jamie, right out of the gate, you've got a team of people. You stand on the shoulder of giants. If a leader is all about themselves, they do not have a capacity for servant leadership, and they don't know how to build a team and make people feel good about what they're doing at work. Let's say they are a demotivator. I've had people describe to me in our research, they'll say, my boss is a big time, and I'm waiting to hear, he is a big time demotivator. So it's probably what you don't want to be called. You don't want to be that person that demotivates or rains on other people's parade, if you would. So if you go through and look at this, and I put this in the context of Christians, so as a Christian, I should have a competitive advantage in lots of ways, because I am called to let the old person pass away and become a new creature in Christ.
That's right.
And the power of that is profound. So if I continue down that path, I should be a great listener. I should care passionately for people. I should be able to look at the people that I work with and say, hey, you know what? I'm here to help you. I am a servant leader. I want to know what I can do to help you win. And so great leaders help other people win. Great leaders clarify where we're going. The people without vision perish. The Old Testament tells us that very clearly. So we've got to give people a quote unquote vision, but we have to tell people what their responsibilities are to complete that vision. So most people want to know exactly what their boss needs from them so that they can be successful. And if we continue down this path of excellence, we got to keep learning. We got to keep developing ourselves. But it's really, really important from a biblical perspective that we stop and we think about all the things Scripture tells us about how we can be the best version of ourselves, which is a popular term these days, right? You're hearing that all the time. I want to be the best version that Christ wants me to be. And I think if I'm walking with the Lord, I'm communicating regularly, I'm praying faithfully, I'm keeping my face in the Word, I'm surrounding myself with wise counsel, I think I can become a better leader. And that's maybe Christ's equation to help each of us become more effective. And as you mentioned earlier, Virginia, in the opening comment, Jesus is the ultimate leader. Jesus is the ultimate servant leader. And that servant leadership is such a powerful thing when I look at Christ. He wasn't about himself. He was about other people in every way, shape, and form, just like Paul and the other powerful people from the New Testament, if you would. And my favorite Bible verse for every leader out there, please make note, get your pens ready. All right. Be quick to hear, slow to speak, and slow to anger. And I can say this with great clarity, that if we all abided in that principle by itself, we'd be in a better place in organizational America. And the advice I would offer, the counsel I would offer, and I'll give you a copy of this article to post up on your website if people would like to visit it.
Sure. I
would go back and just say this, that God built us to serve other people. We are purpose built. And so if you're a leader of a church, go back and look at the fundamentals of how you're influencing people. If you're the leader of a not-for-profit organization, what are you doing to follow the principles of great leadership, to keep people on track, to let people feel appreciated and loved? What are you doing to make sure that you're letting people know how to get better, and what are you doing to improve yourself? So I am always learning. I'm a student of the Word, but I'm equally a student of life. And I got to tell you, the best part about being a college professor and now an independent consultant and an executive coach all these years is that I'm every single day learning. and that's a profound gift that God has given to us.
Wow. So we want to be conformed to the image of Christ for the sake of others. We want to be like Jesus with skin on. Is that what I hear you saying?
Dr. Jamie, I haven't heard that term used before, but I love it. Jesus with skin on. Absolutely. Very well said. And am I surprised that you said something that brilliant? No, I am not surprised. No.
So you mentioned, that what you're doing now after, retirement from the
Yes.
University of Toledo. Maybe if people are interested in learning more about, your coaching.
Yeah, he was
and
sharing
everything.
his business card with us
Yeah.
earlier. And why don't you give us a little summary of that business card and what you're doing these days?
Well,
Clint?
so I do a dozen programs a year for the military and the intelligence community.
Like at West Point.
Yes.
Yeah,
At
that
the
That's
Army
pretty
War
big.
no small
College.
cotton there.
Well,
You know.
these are important opportunities. And what's terrific about it, though, you can see, and often I pinch myself before I go on the stage at a large venue of some sort in the military or in business or in the medical community or wherever, and I always say, Clint, what are you doing here? And so, no, I'm serious. And that thought, and I always hear this little voice said, hey, Clint, you're one of my kids, and you're just doing what I'm asking you to do. So it goes back to God opening up doors at every turn. So I get the privilege of working with our highest level of military leaders across all the services. I have the privilege of working with executives across the country in various capacities as an executive coach, which I greatly appreciate. And then I still have the opportunity to write and do other kinds of really fun things and be a grandfather. So Cindy and I have 2 grandkids.
Wonderful.
Oliver, who's 3.5, and Ezra, who is 10 months.
How fun.
And our daughter Shannon and her lovely husband, Nathaniel Westfall, gave us these 2 kids, and it's such a blessing. So we are very, very blessed indeed.
Beautiful.
Beautiful. Well, so if people want to reach out to you, how can they find
I'm so
you?
sorry. Forgive me. Yeah, you can just, once you Google my name, and a website will pop up, and if you would like to reach out and share some thoughts of any sort, that would be terrific. But I'm built to serve other people, and I'm very appreciative for that. And I learned about that every single day watching my wife, Cindy, who's the best that there is.
Yes.
Servant leadership.
And
Yeah.
she has the gift of discernment. That's what I've always said about Cindy.
That's
so.
very, very true. Now, when and how much time do we have? Are we at time?
You got a minute.
All right, here's a story. Here's how Cindy, here's how I got, people ask me this question quite often. They'll say, Clint, how did you get Cindy to marry you? And I don't mind the question, but I don't like how they say you, because it really trails off. It's like, how'd you get Cindy to marry you? It drops off. So this is a true story, and she was working in a mission school in downtown Port-au-Prince, Haiti. Keep the country of Haiti in your prayers. It's in a desperate place
Yes.
right
Yes,
now
it
in
is.
every way.
Yes, it is.
Cindy had malaria. The city was under martial law. There was gas rationing, food shortages, water shortages. The place was just absolutely a mess. She had malaria, had 103.5 temperature. Her right eye was swollen shut with shingles. And that's when I said, Cindy, will you marry me? And I caught her when she was absolutely delirious and blind. And so every word of that story is absolutely true. So we've been married for 36 years and 6 months and a couple days. So it's been a blessing for
Well,
sure.
too sweet.
Well,
Congratulations.
that's very nice you say that,
Yes.
but
No, it's true though.
I-
That's the best part.
you are a great man of God and a great leader. And Clint, I asked you this last time you were on the set. Will you come back and visit us again?
Absolutely. It's a
great to
pleasure
have you.
and a
Well,
blessing.
wonderful. Thank you so much.
Keep up the good work, and people watching this, keep these 2 young people in your prayers. Keep these and the staff of this organization in your prayers. We all need prayers, and prayers make a big difference in what we're able to get done for the Lord. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.